Oh, we live. All right. Welcome to another episode of Casket Ready. I am one of your co-hosts, Mr. Life, and I got my co-host here, Mr. Real Estate Rod. How you doing, brother? How's everything going?
It's going great, man. You know what I mean? Another day, another dollar.
Oh yeah. So today's topic is a special one. This one here is for all of my smokers. We want to let you know that you can still get approved. Smokers can still get approved. We are eliminating all types of excuses why a person can't get a life insurance policy. This is the topic for today. So if you're listening and you're a smoker, I want you to pay close attention to this conversation that we're about to have. But before we even get into it, I do want to play, a short clip from a video.
The question is, can I get life insurance if I smoke marijuana? Answer is yes. You can still get life insurance if you're a marijuana user. So there are a lot of companies that are friendly to marijuana users. Even before it became medical marijuana, a lot of companies will still issue a life insurance policy. They would consider you a smoker, but they'll issue a life insurance policy. So if you're a marijuana user and you're wanting to get life insurance, we can give you a quote for it. But yes, you can definitely get life insurance as a marijuana user. Come on, all you buyers, come buy some policies from us. The question is,
all right, so let's not waste any time. Let's dissect this conversation here. Let's go right in. What's your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, no, definitely. We want to take them off the screen. But it's that myth that if you smoke, you can't get a policy. You know what I mean? Which that's clearly not the case. Just because you smoke, you're still eligible for a policy. At the end of the day, all it is, insurance is a risk. They assess risk. But if you're in good health and you smoke, it's not a problem. I mean, in some cases, you may pay a little bit more, but overall, you can still get approved. It ain't the old days where, you got to be Mr. Perfect to be able to get a life insurance policy.
Yeah, and I guess, that myth, is kind of debunked. The guy clearly just said it. You can get a policy even if you are a smoker. The main thing is, your premium is going to be a little bit higher. Your monthly payments are going to be a little bit higher versus somebody who is a non-smoker. But, here's the thing, though. One thing I like about that is that it brings awareness to your health, right? Because that's how you get qualified to get a policy. Your main thing is your age and your health, right? So if you are a smoker, naturally, your health may not be as good as someone who is a non-smoker, but there's so many different variables to how a person can get approved. The point is that you're not going to get eliminated based off the fact that you're a smoker. For example, if somebody is a non-smoker, their premiums might be $100 a month. But if you're a smoker, it may be $150. It may just increase a little bit just because you are a smoker, right? Nothing crazy about that. Here's my thing. Here's what I'll tell you. Slow down on the smoking or stop smoking, right? Do that, because once again, it brings that awareness to you of that, you're in not great health, but you're also not in bad health. You're good enough to get a policy, I'll tell you that.
I mean, and to your point, Kay, it's one of those things where a lot of people smoke, man. You know what I mean? A lot of people smoke. And now we got all the stuff going on. We got the hookah. We got all that type of stuff nonstop. Remember, back in the day, it used to be super old school where it was like, they had a smoking section for people. Like, they really isolated smoker. But again, these are new days and age where it's hookah lounges, it's smoking bars. They got, dispensaries all over the place. Like, smoking is now accepted and a part of the process. So it's okay to be a smoker and get a policy. Like you said, it just might be a little bit more expensive. And it may not be that much more expensive, to be honest with you. Because remember, if you're, insurance is about risk. So at the end of the day, if you're just a smoker and you're in good health and you work out all the time and the blood work shows you're good to go, you might get a better rate than somebody that got diabetes that their sugar's out of control. You know what I mean? So it's definitely one of those things where just because you're a smoker doesn't mean that you can't get a good rate too on top of that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And here's the thing: you won't know until you actually apply, right? You won't know until you actually take the first step and actually filling out an application. You'd be surprised. Now these days, you could, like you said, you could be in great health and still get approved, and that's a real thing. There's some clients that I've had in the past to where they were rated preferred, and what that means is that you're in great health and they were a smoker. But they, didn't have any pre-existing conditions, didn't have any illnesses, and they were still rated preferred. Even though they were a smoker, they were an occasional smoker. Now that's another thing. There's some people who may smoke heavy. You may be rolling up like 6 to 10 blunts a day. That's a lot. So even in them situations, we may have to reconsider or have a different conversation with you. Like say, hey, listen, I know you smoke a lot. I know you smoke a lot. You smoke a lot of weed. You smoke about 6 to 10 blunts a day. Before we actually submit this application, let's, take a little breather. Like go maybe smoke 1 or 2, or take a week off. Take 2 weeks off until after this, blood work is done. And then if you want to go back to it, then that's your business. But at the end of the day, it's going to be hard for you to get approved. Or it's, I should say, I'm not going to say that you can't get approved. You can get approved, but it's just going to be, it just decreases the chances the heavy of a smoker that you are. So I would say that how much you smoke does play a factor. I'm not going to sugarcoat that at all.
Yeah. So to your point, Kay, I want to bring up, just like anything, you want to relax, meaning that insurance is about risk and everything's about risk. So what do we mean by that? Is that if you're a smoker, you might want to take it easy. One, because it's healthier to take it easy. But two, if, the insurance company naturally sees that you're making progress, that you smoke, but you're not smoking crazy. So we'll have that conversation with you. Like, maybe you should take a break from smoking for a while. Or maybe you should reduce or cut back your smoking in half, because the insurance company is going to see that you're responsible, and therefore, you get a better rate versus, to your point, if, you have 8 packs of Newports a day, you're not on the right path. But if you're that person, say, hey, I'm going to cut it back all the way because, one, I'm getting a little bit healthier because it is healthier. But two, insurance companies see that you're trying to be more responsible. You're smoking in moderation. You're being reasonable about it at the end of the day.
And then there's also like a questionnaire. So if you are a smoker, if you are rated like standard tobacco, they're going to ask some questions. They're going to give you a questionnaire. And in that questionnaire, they're going to ask you, how often do you smoke? And don't lie about it. You know what? Because they're going to find out anyway. I always tell people there's a thing called misrepresentation. Don't lie. Let's figure this thing out together, but we're not going to lie on the application to the company on what you do, because it just makes you look crazy. And as the applicant and as me as the agent, I want to make sure I'm prepping you for this process the correct way. That's just like if, you're a lawyer, right? If I'm a lawyer, I'm going to make sure that I'm the one talking to the judge. You just sit right next to me. Don't say a word. Don't do anything. I'm going to jurisdict how this conversation is going to go. I'm the underwriter. So I'm going to prep you in the best way possible to make sure that you get approved, or increase our chances of you getting approved.
Yeah, and I like that you said that. It's funny when you said it's not gonna lie. You made me think Friday. You ain't got the lie, Craig. No, but it's true. At the end of the day, I like that point you brought up, Kay. We're not saying we're lawyers, but we're licensed individuals. So meaning you got to tell us what is going on so we can represent you and put you in the best light, the proper light, and the most accurate light. That's why we're the professionals. We know what the insurance companies are looking for. We know what the verbiage means. So you have to at least keep it real with us 100%, so we can let you know what's acceptable and what's not acceptable to put on the application.
Correct. And it says insurance corporations love smokers because down the line there are some health complications. You can't hide that fact. Absolutely. You can't hide the fact that you're a smoker. It's gonna show up in your blood. They're gonna 9 out of 10 times do what we call a medical. They're gonna take your blood, they're gonna take your urine, and they're going to see that. Also, the companies cross-reference information with the Medical Information Bureau. So they're going to get your medical history on, if you are a smoker or not, right? So that's why it's always good to just tell the truth about if you are a smoker. And it says, how do companies define a smoker? Wait, what do you mean? How do companies define?
No, how do companies find a smoker?
Oh, find a
a
smoker.
smoker.
Okay, well, here's the thing.
No, I'm lying. I can't read tonight. My glasses ain't working. It's that glare right now. You are correct. How do the companies define a smoker?
Gotcha.
Stand down.
That's all good. So as far as them defining a smoker, well, remember, like they only go enough of okay, it's a few things. One, what is the illustration, right? So on the illustration, it's going to say either standard tobacco or standard non-tobacco. If it says standard tobacco, that means that person is labeled as a smoker. And then a step further, when they do when they see the application, they're going to see if the person smokes. And then lastly, they're going to also do medical to confirm everything on the application and the illustration is correct. So that's how they'll know, and how do they actually, I guess, measure it through the blood work, through the urine, if that person is like officially, because there's some people who are occasional smokers to where they may smoke once every 3 months. That's not a smoker. I'm like, does vaping classify? Yeah, absolutely. It's still smoke. It's still absolutely, 100%, because it's still harming your body. It's still at risk to it's still bad health at the end of the day. It's still causing harm to your body. So absolutely, that does classify.
Yeah, and honestly, how they find smokers, pretty much like Kadeem said, they cross-reference. They ask you the question up front. Sometimes there's no medical, so meaning that if you have a good medical history, they may not question things. But other times, depending on what they find in the medical history, they will question things, and they may send a nurse or a medical professional to test your blood work and give you tests. Why? Because it is insurance. Nobody's just going to give you, $200,000-$300,000 willy-nilly. At least I wouldn't. I don't got $200,000-$300,000 to give anybody. And best believe I do got to give it to them. I'm going to ask some questions. They got the right to. I got the right to. So it's one of those things where, it just depends on the scenario if they Now, if you're asking if you say you don't smoke, meantime, you have, rolling up six joints a day and they find out, it's a couple things that can happen. One, that depending on how severe it is, being that if you're taking it to a whole nother level and you're a wild smoker that's uncontrollable, they may deny you. Now, if they find that, hey, you're like, hey, I never smoke, but you really do smoke, but it's moderate, it's reasonable, they may be like, all right, we're not going to decline your application. We're going to charge you appropriately what it costs to really insure you instead of the $20 that we told you was going to give you before,
Mm-hmm. And then, it's about prepping the person for the conversation, or prepping that conversation and prepping the potential client of what can and can't happen in this scenario. We're always super realistic with the process in regards to, the chances of somebody getting approved. We're very realistic about it. But then I'm looking at it from the perspective that there are a lot of people who smoke, but there's and both men and women. But these men and women have families. They have children. They have spouses. So they themselves shouldn't be excluded on getting a policy. So why not still apply for it? Because at the end of the day, if something were to happen, regardless if you smoke or not, it's still the same concept. It's still the same, outcome of that person not being there. People smoke for whatever reason they want to smoke for. But at the end of the day, they're still a family, so they still should be covered. They still should have protection, right? For their family.
And to your point, Kay, like I like the fact that you brought it up. Because listen, we good guys, we stand-up guys, we're licensed individuals, all the above. But back in my youth, man, listen, it was some days where, let's just say, hot boxing, things of these terms of that nature, where it was endless smoking. It was smoke-a-thons, to say the least. But you know, I can say here as an adult, you know, I have a couple policies myself. So listen, if I could recover and have active policies and it be a reasonable price, we're all good. Meaning that, you know, your past doesn't define you. And not that we're doing anything wrong. Because look, nowadays, we all know smoking is legal on all aspects. You know what I mean? But the point is, though, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter that you're a smoker. You just need to let us know so we can get you the right policy and the right carriers that will cover you for smoking.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought that up too, because, you know, just took a blast from the past. Hey, shout out to Kia. How you doing, Kia? You know, like it's, we used to roll up, right? So we all used to smoke, right? Obviously we don't smoke anymore. But on top of me smoking, you know, I had pneumonia too. I caught pneumonia, nearly lost my life. I tell my story all the time. And when I tried to apply to get life insurance the first time, they denied me. I had to wait 2 years before I actually was able to apply for insurance again. And so for me, not only was I a smoker, but I nearly died and I still got coverage. So if I can get coverage, there's no excuse and there's no reason why no one can not apply and actually get the coverage. Now, obviously, it's still based off of your health, your age. These things do play a factor. I'm not going to sit and say it doesn't play a factor. However, you know, the longer you wait, it decreases the chances of the approval because you're just older. Naturally, you get more sicker, and the companies look at these things. So I say, when is the best time to actually apply and get a policy for you and your family? Like yesterday. That's the real answer. And once again, my smokers, listen, we was there. We were you at some point in time. And I just want to let you know that you still have a chance, still have a fighting chance.
Yeah, nah, okay. I don't like how you did the crowd. You did the okie doke. You know, whenever you watching those commercials on TV when they got the medicine, and they're like, "Yeah, go ahead and take those random things that make you lose weight." But also at the bottom of the screen it goes, "Well, it will cause nausea, vomiting, and screaming, and you may die. But go ahead and take it. Like, stop playing with the people. Man. Stop playing with the people."
I'm just keeping it real.
To your point, and to even clean it up, what Kay said is, at the end of the day, we always have multiple different life insurance products, even if you do get denied. So we offer multiple variable products, meaning that you might not get approved for that permanent, but you might get approved for a term. You might not get approved for a term, but we might roll you into a Roth. Yes, we do Roths too. You might not get a Roth, we might put you into a final expense. So there's always a product for you, no matter what the circumstance. We're going to find something that's at least going to cover you and your family and protect them no matter what. That's the key thing we want to get across.
Mm-hmm. I'll read some of the comments here. It says, many companies will reconsider your rates after 12 months of being smoker-free. Absolutely, that's a good point. When that does happen, you actually could reapply. And then because you haven't smoked for X amount of time, now you can reapply as a non-smoker versus a smoker. And the premium and the rate that you once were paying obviously can decrease because you're not paying the smoker's rate anymore. You're paying a non-smoker's rate once of the approval, right? So that's a very good point. It says that means if you quit and maintain it, you can potentially cut your premiums in half or more. Absolutely. Yep, literally what I just said. Yep. Perfect. Yep. And it says that means if you quit and it's the same thing? Okay, it's the same thing. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip from this next video real quick.
Okay.
Hold on.
Saying. Damn, man. Anybody still smoke cigarettes out there? Most everybody done gave it up. Nah, still kind of holding on. Yeah, it ain't easy, is it? I feel sorry for the people that smoke cigarettes, though. Not, just cause, though. Because they've been kicked out of society. Okay. Nigga, you can't smoke a cigarette nowhere no more, can you? People walk. I saw a dude walk in the airport the other day. Excuse me, you tell me where your smoking section is. My man was like, oh, okay, now you see them two doors where you came in? All that out there, that's you. That's outside. Yeah, everything. You can go left or right, but either way, once you get outside, that's all yours, dog. Hey, just ain't nice. Feel sorry for people can't smoke in the building where they work. got to go outside to have a cigarette. You know, that's nice, you know, in summertime, you know, spring. Sound like a good idea even. But somewhere around January 28th, you ever see them? It'd be like 4 of them all together trying to stay warm. They're gonna be so cold, they only get like 2 puffs in. How come people who smoke can't never find their damn lighter? I like the different style of smokers, though. That's what I like to watch. You ever watch somebody real cool smoke? You know, like that brother that stand out in front of the liquor store all day? Cool brother, you know what I'm saying? Got the long, cool filter canes, you know, hit that little pack. All right, nigga. I'm gonna let you later on it. All right, dog. You ever see somebody real cheap smoke? You know, the people don't like nobody ask for none of their cigarette. Or if they got any more, they hide the whole thing, you know, have a cigarette. Oh, no, dog, I ain't got no more. No, this was my last one. That was it. My favorite, though, that old man who work on everybody's car in the black neighborhood. You just run your car by there, and later on, he put an alternator on there for you. Be talking to you with his cigarette hanging off his lip the whole time. What you got there now? You got a flame? Yeah, ring around 4 o'clock. Nigga, ain't no goddamn problem. I put a car right on there for you. Nigga. You you want out of flame 15 goddamn years. Why you look like your daddy? Why you look like you leave? Goddamn it. No.
Yeah, man. I love Cedric the Entertainer, man. He's comical, man. He's comical. But yeah, man. To the point though, like you know, it's okay to be a smoker. You know what I mean? Like it's judge free zone. What's that little stupid thing they be having online? We listen, but we don't judge. Whatever they be talking about.
Yeah.
The same thing with life insurance. You know what I mean? We take a look at you smoking, but we don't judge. We still give you a policy. Don't worry about it. You know. At the end of the day.
I was cracking up because when he's talking about the lighters though,
Mm-hmm.
I was me for real though. Like I was always taking somebody's lighter. When you looking for us, because I have your lighter. Bro,
oh God, real talk, man. But I mean, even to the point to where, you know, to your point, okay, you know, getting back to it, it is important that people understand they got to get a policy no matter what, and they don't want to let that, you know, deter them from getting a policy. Because the truth is, too, at the end of the day, I mean, let's face it, though, like, you know, smoking, especially if you're heavy smoking, can lead down the line to increases your chances of cancer and all that type of stuff. So it's okay if you're doing it, but it is something that can lead to other health complications. So you want to be covered if something does happen. Because, I mean, it is a real thing where if you're smoking past, let's say, 40 years old and you're smoking on a consistent basis, it may shave a couple years off your life. You know what I mean? It's an uncomfortable conversation, and we don't like to talk about it, but it's a real thing. But at minimum, you might as well get a life insurance policy if you're a smoker. You know what I mean? If you have any health conditions, if you're a smoker, listen, if you're getting old, you know what I mean? And plus, tomorrow's not promised to nobody. How many times we see, you know, people just pass away abruptly? You know, so having a policy is important. At the basic, you want to protect yourself, you want to protect your family, and again, anyone that you love, you want to protect and get at least a basic policy.
Mm-hmm. And just to kind of piggyback off that a little bit, you know, life expectancy, right, is about maybe 75. If you're lucky if you touch 80, right? They say women live a little bit longer than us men, right? It's because they stress us out. But that's another conversation for another day. But what happens is that if you're a smoker, it shaves about 10 years off your life. And based off of when you stop smoking, you couldn't recoup that. So it's probably been like maybe close to 10 years since, maybe even longer, but close to 10 years that I will speak for myself, that I've stopped smoking, right? So at this point, my lungs are being rejuvenated, it's being healed, right? So, and the companies understand the biology and the science behind that. So they will cover, that's the reason why I got, the coverage, right? And so they see these things. For a lot of people, we got to understand this is how it works. And if you want to actually get a policy, once again, if you're a smoker, you could still get approved. But how much you smoke, it really does matter. And once again, it brings the awareness to your health when you do get a policy, because it lets you know where you stand with your health. And that's why it's important to do it, because 10, 20, 30 years passes by just like that. But at the end of the day, we still want to do the right thing and protect ourselves and protect our family,
Yeah, no, absolutely. So it's a real thing, man. That's the ultimate goal. What we do the show for is you want to protect yourself. You want to protect your family at the end of the day. Again, if you care about anybody around you, you know what I mean? Even the most selfish person needs life insurance at the very minimum. Somebody got to bury you. Why put it on somebody else's dime? Why have somebody else pay to bury you at the very minimum? You want to have at least enough, because funeral expenses, as we talked about before, the average funeral cost these days is about $12,000 to $15,000. And if you want a better funeral, or a funeral that you really like, that's $20,000 to $25,000 to get yourself buried. So at very minimum, no matter what age you are, you want to have enough coverage at least to bury. Don't leave nobody with a bill. You know what I mean? And again, what we always say, don't just leave people with memories. Leave them some money if possible. But at the minimum, don't leave them with a bill. Get a basic policy to at least be able to bury you in peace. So, people could be able to, at the funeral, just celebrate your life. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, when they're at the funeral, you don't have to worry about all this other stuff. You don't have to worry about, GoMe funds and all these people getting this type of money together and asking, Uncle Tommy for $40 to help with the funeral costs, and this person for $200, and how much you got and how much. This ain't the days of chipping in. Just like the smoking videos. Remember the days when we used to have chip-ins, like everybody chip in to get a couple L's?
We got about three Dutches, 3 Nicks, a 50-cent soda, and 2 bags of chips.
Listen, it's funny though, because back in the day, that's how it was though. Growing up in New York, don't be like, listen, all right, you got $3, you got 8, you got 7. All right, so we'll be able to get a bag of a pot, what I mean, a weed, whatever the case is, and we're gonna get two things of Chinese food, and we're all gonna share it. But listen, we adults now. There's no time for chippings. I'm sorry, people. There's no time for chippings. Stop the chippings.
Oh man, with that being said, man, we gonna wrap this thing up, man. It's coming to that time.
Definitely.
The website is at the bottom of the screen. As you can see, go ahead and book that consultation. It still is Life Insurance Awareness Month. That's why we're spreading the awareness of life insurance, how important it is for you and your family to get a policy, right? Also, we're a one-stop shop. So it's not just about life insurance. We're gonna help you fix your credit. We're gonna help you buy that dream home that you've been, planning on for years. We're gonna help you with the savings. We're gonna help you with the budgeting. So we got a lot going on. Go ahead and book that consultation, free consultation. Not for long though. Not for long. Not that free consultation for long. Go ahead and book that consultation, and then we'll talk more about that. I know we got some events coming up, right? You want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah. First, I want you to stop giving people the false hope. Consultations is ending next week, so not for long. We literally mean 1 week. Just for clarity for KD.
I hear you. No, not for me. I ain't clear for me. Clear for them.
But no, it's just $25. To come out, just like a doctor's appointment. If you miss your doctor's appointment, they charge you $25. It's the same thing. We all know time is currency. And time is currency at the end of the day. So we take our time seriously. We want you to take your time serious and our time serious. So there is a small fee for that in particular. But life insurance, there's no charge for that. It's just a quote But yeah, to your point, Katie, we have an event coming up September 27th, this Saturday, 10 to 2. Vision and Vibes. Going to be food, drinks, bottomless mimosas, brunch. We're going to have a good time just talking about money. Anybody that's struggling, come out. Tickets only $30. $30 to change your life. Go to the website, go to the event tab, and book your tickets, no matter what, and just show up. Anything else you got, Katie, before we go out?
Nah, that's it, man. If nothing else, here at Legacy Builders, we built together to grow forever. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you guys next Monday.
Absolutely.
Same time, same place.
All right.